Hi, my name is Olivia Giacchio, U.S. Moguls team athlete, World Cup skier, and Olympian.
Okay, describe a Cork 10.
It's like two off-axis spins with one flip, technically, I guess. Yeah, one flip with two off-axis spins.
And you're the only one in the World Cup doing it right now?
In competition, yes. There are more girls who can do it on snow, though, which is sweet.
You know, it's the hardest trick for a female in the world, and she's the first one to do it, you know, in competition and land it. And
so were you doing it here, up on the court?
Yeah, I did some yesterday.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about this fear thing, because I was a downhiller, right? So when you're going 75, 80 miles an hour down a hill, you learn a lot really fast. And,
yeah, I'd imagine.
but with fear, like, the more proficient you are, the better you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as much of a fear thing. I mean, how do you handle that? I mean, it's just mileage and reps, or what?
Yeah, I would say mileage helps a lot. I definitely still get scared, though. And I feel like that's a pretty natural thing. I feel like it's more about, like, how you get past it, I would say.
How do you get past it?
I have, like, a performance statement that I say usually, like, right before I go, and then keywords that also kind of hone in on what I'm working on, too. That help a lot. And sometimes you just kind of have to force yourself to go, honestly. And then I think there's also a difference between, like, knowing when it's safe to do it, even if you are scared, and then if you're, like, so terrified to the point where it's not.
You said something that was so huge, and it relates to the mental side of sport, right? Your keywords, kind of your mental organization. That's you. Would you share some of those keywords, those cues for you, or is that your own thing, which I respect and is fine?
I have, like, my performance statement is I'm resilient and a great competitor attack. And that's also what I say, like, before competing, too.
Yeah.
But I would say keywords kind of vary depending on, like, what trick I'm working on, what skills I'm trying to improve, and even from, like, run to run a little bit. But for the most part, like, when I'm working on something, I try to keep it relatively consistent.
I love how positive that is. Positive, like that positive self-talk. And we're not going to tolerate anybody coming up to us being down on us and being negative, like saying you're a dirtbag. Like, we wouldn't tolerate that, right? And we can't talk to ourselves that way. And your statement is self-love. It's total positive, and I think there's really something to that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, like, I think especially when you get to a certain level of sport, it's like you're your own worst enemy in a sense, or you can be your own biggest supporter and, like, the reason why you achieve your potential.
but something that I think she's done a really good job of is just staying within her bubble and not letting any outside influences affect her at all. And that's something that's really impressive. It's something I can say I wasn't very good at, so
it's something I'm still learning to do, though.
Mental skills. I mean, it's like technical skills, right? It's a lifetime of lessons and learning.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're honing in on that. I mean, is there anything else with the mental side that you're very intentional about?
I would say, honestly, a lot. I feel like that's a really big part of, like, my skiing and how I compete, honestly. And I think that's something, like, especially since I tore my knee in 2019, that's something that I've really honed in on quite a bit, and I think it's changed, like, my career, really. But yeah, there's a lot of, like, daily practices and stuff that I do.
You know,
visualizing.
When I won a gold medal in 1984, I felt what separated me out from everybody else on that day was the mental side. You know, in the starting gate,
sure.
there's no question about it. And when you're dealing with the best in the world, it's that mental clarity, mental routine, mental toughness that really, I think, separates folks out. Do you mind if I video you?
That's fine.
Okay. You know, we're with the general public here on the Gandhi, and you had an interesting question. Ask it.
Well, I think all the questions that were asked were about her own mental state and condition and athleticism, and that's obviously critical when you're doing any sport. But you didn't ask her about the other girls, the other competition. It doesn't matter who you're playing against that day or not. Do you think about it?
I think that's a very interesting question from the general public. I'm wondering if I know the answer to this one, but Olivia, have at it.
I would say no, I don't think about them at all, because I can't control anything they do. The only thing I have control over is myself, and I feel like if I'm not wasting energy, but like taking the time to think about other people and what they're gonna do. And I don't necessarily know if it like helps my mental game that much. I mean, you can use it for strategy in terms of like what tricks people are doing, but even that's really hard to predict, I would say.
It's an awesome question because
Yeah.
that's how people think, right? And so I'm really glad we got it. I would agree, having been there myself. You can't control anybody else.
No.
And it's
But if
so
I played lacrosse in college, and if I'm playing against Maryland, I'm thinking differently than if I'm playing against
Different
That's
team
super
sport.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's
Thing,
different
right.
with like team sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
let's go make some turns. Thanks, Bobby. Okay, Bobby, your turn to get me now with Olivia. All right.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's go,
I've
ladies.
got no pride.
You'll be good.
All right, Olivia.
No, don't worry about you, Deb Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start at the right.
Are we going right at Bobby?
Yep.
Then we're gonna pass you and then you come behind.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Go. Okay. Yep. I'm running Olivia into the Moguls.
Sync it up, ladies.
The mental side is so important, and I wouldn't want kids to think if they need to see a psych professional about athletics that there's something wrong with them, because there's not.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is a skill.
Exactly. Yeah, and like half of your performance on that skill has to do with your mental ability to perform it as well.
Exactly. Olivia, tell me about your equipment. Tell me about Mogul equipment.
I mean, pretty much all Mogul skiers use ID1 skis.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
What are the characteristics about it? I mean, it doesn't have as much shape as mine.
Nope. Yeah, the underfoot obviously is a lot thinner.
What is it underfoot?
Ooh, I looked the other day. I think it's like 60.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just quick edge to edge.
Yeah, very narrow. And then I ski on like a, if you can see, there's like the little cracks in the edge, so it's like a little bit of a softer ski.
Oh, okay.
Relative to some of the other models that they make.
Yeah.
And then usually in terms of height, I feel like you want it about like somewhere within the range of like your forehead or a little bit higher.
Good info. How about your boot? Do you do anything special with your boot setup?
Not really. I mean, I have, I've been skiing on full tilt boots pretty much since I've skied Moguls.
Have you established a degree at Columbia?
Yes, I'm a psychology major.
Oh, that's kind of fits,
Fitting,
doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yes.
My dad was a psychologist.
Oh.
I remember thinking that I should have had a psychology degree by the time I finished with the U.S. ski team. It's just, you learn so much.
Yeah, you do. You pretty much have a psych degree by or from a decade on the team.
That's what I meant, exactly.
I guess another thing that like has kind of balanced my life out a little bit is that I've started like freelance editing a little bit. Yeah, so I've edited the Crane Mousie's book a couple of years ago. I don't know if it ever got published actually, but they run a podcast now. And then I'm also in the process of editing another Family Friends book, which is, yeah, it's fun. It's very detail oriented.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Getting into your brain in a different kind of way. Have you always liked writing?
Yes, yeah, I have. And I run a blog on my website.
Okay, what's your website?
OliviaGiaccio.com.
Go there, everybody. Check it out. Olivia, congrats on your season so far.
Thanks, yeah, it's been fun. Definitely my most consistent like start to a year that I've ever had. 3 top 5s so far, but like more importantly, I would say for the most part, my process was really good. And just how I was focused on performing and was able to execute it.
Where do you feel you're at with your whole learning curve, with your career on the team, you know, and your trajectory as an athlete?
I mean, obviously I would say you're definitely always learning. And I think once you say or feel like you've experienced it all competing, there's something else that pops up that you definitely don't expect. So I would say I feel like I'm at a good point with my competitive process where I feel really confident, I would say, in what I'm doing, and definitely have more belief in myself in what I'm capable of than I used to, I would say. And I'm really excited for what's to come and being able to really reach to strive for like my maximum potential when it comes to all aspects of the sport.
You mentioned on the gondola how maybe in the past your strength has been aerials.
Yeah, the jumping definitely has been more of my strength, I would say, in the past, and still is.
Yeah.
I think that's like a bit of what separates me, as we like talked a little bit about earlier. But I'm definitely getting to the point where my speed and my turns are coming to the point where they're top 3 every time, or hoping to be top 3 every time. And I feel like that's definitely a way that I make myself, or am aiming to make myself, very consistent, like a very consistent contender on the tour, is to be consistent and one of the best at all 3 aspects, not just one. Yeah, Moguls is a pretty crazy balancing act.
You know what? Understanding your strengths and understanding your weaknesses, and doing something about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Olivia, thank you. I've really been inspired by this time. Thank you. Really
Thank
awesome.
you. That means a lot. Thanks for having me.
Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Okay, gang. Feel free to support the channel right here. See ya.